touching on a lot of information. Supreme Court rejects Donald Trump's birthright citizenship challenge. Uh, they voted against the Haitians. But I mean, I think the birthright citizenship is for anybody that's over here. You know, you could be illegal, and if you have a child over here, then they're considered an American citizen. If they're born here, they're considered American citizen. Uh, that could, like I say, that could be a Trojan horse. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so, evident to make sure that, you don't let illegal immigrants into the nation. And I do believe in that. Now, if you come in legally, that's something different. But if you come in illegally, then that's crazy. That could be a Trojan horse. I mean, what benefits do you get breaking the law? I never seen nobody get a benefit from breaking the law. Now, on that one, I think that's the one that they probably should have voted for. That's the one they should have damn voted for. That you can't just cause, you know, I mean, so what if the mom and daddy was illegal, but the baby legal? So what happens if you deport the mom and daddy? I'm trying to figure that one out. If the mom and daddy is illegal and they never received citizenship, and then they have a baby within the time frame of them being in the United States illegally, what happens in that situation? Because the baby is a United States citizen, but the mom and daddy is illegal immigrants. So that right there look like a Trojan horse. You feel what I'm saying? That's a Trojan horse. And so, you most definitely, if that's the case, uh keep illegal immigrants from flooding into the nation like that. And that's necessary. You don't see Russia having no problems like that, where they having millions of motherfuckers breaking into Russia. You don't have millions of motherfuckers breaking into China. You don't have millions of motherfuckers breaking into North Korea and shit like that, or any other place. You're not gonna have them. They're not gonna allow that. And so that the fact that it went on for so fucking long was deplorable, because you got to have sovereignty. You sovereignty meaning that you securing the borders and shit like that, and that people come in the right way. You come in the right way or don't come in, and that's for anything. That's for any goddamn thing. In any nation, anywhere I went, you had to pull out a goddamn passport to get in. You didn't have one, they would detain your ass. They not let if you come on an airplane into another country, that's the first thing they're gonna do. They're gonna send you the international. You check in international. They're gonna send your ass in there. They're gonna put your passport in there. You're gonna get come up. Some of them you put the shit on the computer. You come up. You put your information in there, and then you come. And some of them you go always come to a person. A guard, or a officer, immigration officer, and they're gonna ask you why you here, what you doing, how long you gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? When you intend to go home, did you bring anything with you? They're gonna ask you. Ain't got no goddamn passport, you not getting in. So why is it different when people crawling up under the gates and up under and coming in, and then you don't get no benefit from breaking the law? I never seen no law if you break in somebody's house and you steal their shit. Even if you get locked up, you get to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got charged, and you gonna get all of that taken back from you. You don't get the key. You don't get rewarded for committing a crime. You know, I I don't understand that part, but obviously the Supreme Court felt that was that was not the case, and so they voted to shoot it down. Now the other thing, the fucking Congress could just vote and change it if that's the case, but I don't think they got enough to change it. I don't know if they got enough to change it or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many votes it would take to change something like that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that's probably the only other way that you could do it is vote it in the law, and that could come in the Congress. But I don't know if the Supreme Court could strike down the law and say that's unconstitutional. I don't know. But so that was a strike for because if he did, he'd probably be putting out a whole lot more motherfuckers. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how many people been born under, from illegal immigrant parents in the United States. So imagine how many people would be getting put out of here, for that. That would be crazy. You talking about losing weight. United States trying to lose weight, trying to get some pounds off. You know what I'm saying? And so you talking about, man, you talking about putting out millions of people. You talking about putting out millions of people. You probably tens. You probably talking about somewhere up to 10 million people been born, as far as that go. Birthright citizenship. So a lot of people, and so that's crazy because he's saying it's only for blacks. And a lot of people said, yeah, yeah, they run it. They run it. Yeah, they run it. But anyway, he said it was only for black. That didn't apply. They didn't accept that that interpretation on the law. And so he won one, then he lost another one. He won one, and so he gets a chance to deport the Haitians, but the birthright citizenship, the children of illegal immigrants and shit like that, uh, I guess they get to stay. But he not done. You can believe that. He's not done. He's not done. He's gonna find another, and they just hit his ass up for that case too. I guess it's the end of a cycle, the Supreme Court. So they pushed all the cases through, and so he thought, they might shoot down that $5 million verdict, for his, civil lawsuit, which he lost against that woman, Earl Carroll, whatever her name was, and so for sexual assault and defamation, but they upheld it. They upheld the verdict, and so he gonna have to come out his pockets. He can keep, you're not gonna, and plus you still got the hold that you were convicted. Damn, man, this motherfucker was convicted of sexual abuse. That's really sad, man. Yeah, that's really sad on his behalf. To be convicted of some shit like that, man. But anyway, again, that they have shot down, and I don't know what other recourse he has, to try to, again, maybe try to get it through Congress or whatever, but he gonna find another loophole. He gonna find another loophole. It's always enough. They say it's always more. It's more ways to skin a cat. And so they about to find. They probably already working on Plan B. They probably got a Plan B. They probably got a Plan C. And watch out, cause he's gonna try to push his son through as the next. Oh really? That's crazy. That motherfucker got more. He been convicted so many times and shit. Can Donald Trump even vote? Can he even vote? I know them wasn't civil. Them was civil lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? Them was civil lawsuits. The, and not criminal lawsuits. So I don't know if he could. That motherfucker's a felon. That motherfucker's a felon, man. A felon. Can't even vote. That's sad. But anyway, family, I appreciate y'all, man. I might be done for the day. I appreciate y'all hanging out with the general. Click that link down there, Patreon. Get over there, get that work I got for your family. He can vote. What a shame. If he was convicted in the criminal, he got convicted in the civil. But if he was convicted in the criminal, he wouldn't be able to vote. But anyway, I appreciate y'all, family. Get over to the General SETI One Stop. All the classic DVDs, link right down there. Patreon, Too Raw for YouTube, General SETI. You already know it's too hot for me to put up here. Go get that work. I'll see y'all later. Black Pop.